example to start with. Let's fix that. I'll give you a lecture, don't worry about it. But before that, I'll give you some examples so that you can actually gather. This is actually a submission in 1415. Something like that. The researcher talks about fire suppression in data centers. Wrote an abstract. Obviously, the abstract is just like a summary. And you'll write your abstract, the last thing, after you've investigated, yeah? And then all the findings, all the results, then you write your abstract. Do you agree? Yeah? So it's the final thing is your abstract, which is around about half a page. So, like say for example here, the researcher says, after undertaking this research, the author has identified ways in which further investigation into this topic will help to improve the information available about water. So this, the researcher did the proposal, right, for solution, okay, or resolution. Now then, you can put acknowledgement or not. This is actually your own choice. It's actually optional. Then you do an introduction, general introduction, background, sometimes a theory if it is actually something really needs calculation. So the researcher is talking about fire, aims and objectives, right? Now then, and I always stress on that. For any research, there's only one aim. So this is weak. You cannot have three aims. You can have many objectives to achieve that aim, through which you achieve that aim. Agreed? Yeah? But always there is only one aim. You're not doing a PhD here. It's not really intermingled or intricate project that you're doing, right? At this stage, the project or the dissertation you're doing or the research you're doing or the investigation you're doing is original to you. Some people, they say, well, you know, I'm doing something new. But there is actually some element of originality in it. That's great. Yeah? This is actually more than we asked for. Yeah? What we are asking actually to look at certain topic, research it, investigate it, get results. Yeah? Which is actually you learn from. Which you learn from, which is original to you, original to your knowledge. Yeah? And relevant to building services. So, you can see where the weakness is. Yeah? All right? Obviously, the objectives here, those three can be actually done in one sentence, which is actually one aim. Yeah? Shouldn't be three aims. I would say 99% of dissertation should have one aim. Unless it's something really, like I said, very intricate, right? That you need to actually use something else. But in this actually particular research, just one aim. Then the objectives, as I said, how to actually, the process, yeah, through which you achieve that aim. I need to go collect data, I need to actually go and do some measurements, I need to go and ask people, I need to actually research it, see like, you know, similar work that has been done before and compare. These are objectives. You know the difference between aims and objectives now? Yeah? Right. So this is literature review. Now, again, in every, what about pens? In every chapter that you do, there will be an intro and conclusion. Intro body and conclusion. So this is actually in every chapter. Intro, body, conclusion. So there will be actually some kind of a coherence. So it's coherent. So if I read that chapter in literature review, you introduce me, or you introduce to the reader, then you do the critical analysis or comparison within the body, yeah? Using references, citation, good citation, using Harvard system. And in the end, you need to conclude. If there are legislation, you talk about legislation, if there are any. In here, like it's all like the critical analysis, comparing the work that you're doing with any other work. Yes? It doesn't have to be another one work. Could be like, you know, 2 other works similar, or 3 other works similar. Yes? And what you're looking at the gaps. So if you are actually researching like, you know, ground source heat pump for domestic installation, yeah? And you found some kind of document or some kind of like old research on that, you've got to actually look at the gaps, and this is where the critical analysis is. So you need to actually plug that gap in the work that you're doing. Yeah? That's the whole idea. When you do the literature review, it might actually sound like, you know, odd. What's a literature review? Literature review is all about comparison, about critical analysis, and filling the gap. And some research that you think should be actually, it should have been done. You know what I mean? Yeah? And that actually gives you really like quite strong, cemented literature review and coherent as well, bonded together. Okay, so this is actually the main chapter, or the largest chapter in any dissertation is the literature review. Yeah? Now, the total was like 10,000 words, which is not too bad. Obviously, you've got to exclude contents, table of contents, figures, tables, and references section. So if you actually exclude all these, it will come to like, you know, more or less 10,000 words. Then there's a conclusion, as I said, introduction, body, conclusion in every chapter. Even in the introduction, you give a background and then you conclude your introduction as well. An introduction chapter. Then you got the methodology. Methodology is the method. How are you going to actually do the investigation? Is it qualitative? Is it quantitative? What system are you using? Are you going to actually collect data, existing data, and analyze it? Or you take the data, or you measure it? Yeah? Yourself? Or you do calculation, series of calculation, and you analyze for certain, like, you know, I give you an example. In 2011-12, I had a student who wanted to actually do a practical one. He was actually just like, you know, a sort of an engineer in a hospital in Leeds, the health service. And he actually thought that the wards were noisy. Some wards were noisy. Well, they shouldn't be. So he wanted to go and measure every single room in that hospital, even operation rooms, like labs, wards, everything, kitchen, toilet, everything. He did actually a dissertation. It was that thick. I said, I've got it. But all of it, or most of it, I would say 80% of it, appendices. Because for every room he measured, he had like, you know, a sheet with the results. So it included that. But he went and measured everything and analyzed it. He got first class, obviously. Yes? I mean, his dissertation was that thick, but all the rest were appendices and results. You may want to do that. Go and do a measurement, then analyze and propose improvement in what you need to do. Yeah? Have you got the idea? Yes? That's the idea. You got a problem? Investigate it. See if somebody like, you know, had done something similar. Compare it. Then get your results. Analyze your results. Present your results in any form. I don't care. Curves, histograms, bar charts, whatever. Take a lot of pictures if you are doing something really like, you know, pictures. I love pictures. So if you're using a gadget, take a picture of the gadget, explain the gadget. Yeah? So I'll give you a good example. This is not actually the best example anyway. Yeah? And that wasn't actually the best mark because there were here like some kind of experiment and there wasn't actually some evidence of these experiments. So some pictures there. Third experiment. This is the methodology. So it was actually just by experimenting. Then got the matrix, environmental considerations, stuff like that. Then conclusion, then results and discussion. And after you've done your methodology, and from which you got the results, you need to present it in a different chapter. Okay? Stuff like that. Analyzing, then showing all the results. It wasn't actually the best, as I said. I'll show you a good one. Okay?